kind of tricky, but we will get it. 1 whole cup here of the whites, because that's going to make the crust nice and fluffy and full, and you won't even miss that gluten flour of a traditional graham cracker crust. Oh, this crust is going to be so delicious because it's going to be crispy and fluffy, and it's going to hold all that yummy cream cheese with vanilla. And I'm going to do a simple berry syrup for the top, just to add that little bit of sweetness that we're missing from not using sugar in this recipe. Okay, so we're just going to wrap this crust in the tin foil, and we're going to bake it for about 20 minutes in the oven so it gets nice and crispy of course with the cream cheese filling it. So I just realized that we've been filming the wrong direction the entire time so far. I know you guys said horizontal only, so hopefully with this whining baby I will get supper done. Alright, so in my tiny food processor I put ground up about 1 cup of pork rinds, about a half a cup of shredded coconut, and then I put in some Parmesan cheese. So I'm going to set that down. Now back into my tiny processor I have 1 egg. I'm going to put some parsley, some fresh cilantro. I'm going to put 3 whole garlic cloves because I like the really strong flavor of the garlic with the citruses that we're going with today. I also have this nice big hunk of ginger. We're going to put some lemon juice, not too much because we are also adding orange juice, which I think is the sweetness and the citrus helps break down the meat, makes it a little tender. We're also going to put some Dijon mustard, about 2 tablespoons worth. And we're putting that because it has the vinegar in it, it has that like yummy kind of spice to it that's also sweet. We're going to put a little bit of bacon bits. And we're also going to put a little bit of coconut oil. We're adding so many different flavors here because we are going gluten-free, sugar-free, totally keto with the rub for the pork. So we want to add as much fresh, yummy flavors as we can. I'm going to use some slivered Parmesan, and I'm going to put that right in there with the egg and the mustard and all that good stuff that's in there. I'm going to puree all that together. I'm going to coat my pork tenderloin in that. I'm going to roll it in the pork rind coconut parm mixture, and I'm going to pan fry it, throw it in the oven. Alright, so we are going to season our pork tenderloin. I did choose some free range, free from hormone type meat because that's really important to us that we have natural meat. Living in the Yukon, I did grow up mostly on wild meat, so we're not really used to different types of meat from the store like pork and chicken and beef. But anyway, so I'm going to season it with just some salt and pepper. It's really important to season your food because it brings out all the flavors. Another thing that is really important to me is composting, growing my own vegetables as much as I can. I garden every year. My kids take part, they get their hands in there, they get dirty. And yeah, that's really important to me. Okay, all that good stuff. So we're gonna just slather that right on this pork. I wish you could smell it. That citrus and that fresh, sharp garlic and the herbs. It smells delicious. This is gonna be amazing. Okay, so before I put the other side in, I am gonna dip this in the coconut pork rind Parmesan mixture. All right. I like to do this before I completely roll it in, just so I can make sure that it does get a really good layer. Okay, so my bacon is perfect. I did want it a little bit extra crispy just because I'm going to cook it back in with the Brussels sprouts. So I'm going to take that out. Now in the same pan, there's the exact amount of oil that I need and the flavors that I need to really roast those Brussels sprouts. So I'm going to use this pan without doing anything to it and get some veggies in there. Okay, my videographer is helping with the crazy baby, so I'm just gonna do a quick one. I am slicing my Brussels sprouts in my little slicer here because I'm gonna make my take on a coleslaw, which is everyone's favorite thing to go with pork. And yeah, so right now I'm just gonna slice up my Brussels sprouts and get those prepped, and I will get the sauce made. Okay, so I've sliced up my Brussels sprouts. I put them in the pan with the bacon grease and the little bacon crispies. I'm gonna toast that up, let it get crispy. I'm gonna take it out and let it cool, and I'm gonna use that to make my little coleslaw with the avocado dressing. The pork tenderloin is in the oven, and for now, we're just gonna let that cook, and I'm gonna cut up some garlic and onions. Here is the cheesecake. I hope that it's a nice violet color inside when we cut it open. For now, it's gonna chill, and I'm gonna make my avocado dressing for the coleslaw. Okay, so I'm gonna put the avocado in the food processor. I diced it up while it was still in the skin so it'll come out nice and clean. The ingredients, as much of the ingredient as I can. I think it's just a part of the First Nation culture, but you really don't want to leave much to waste at all. Okay, I'm gonna throw in some parsley, some cilantro, some salt, not too much because there's some pepper, salt, some apple cider vinegar, just a splash, and because I really want that citrus to come out because it's a component in all of the dishes here. And that's it. I'm going to puree this, check the consistency, adjust it a little bit, and that will be my dressing for the coleslaw. So I did add some heavy cream because it wasn't quite smooth enough. I added a little bit more apple cider vinegar and lime juice, and now I'm going to puree it again, check the consistency and the flavors, and go from there. Going to come a little bit closer. Okay, so I've got the Brussels sprouts that we're browning inside the bacon grease. I'm just going to flip them over. I don't want to disturb them too much, but I really want to get them to have that nice kind of crispy brown edge, soak up the salt from that bacon grease, and just get another depth of flavor before we cool them down and turn this into a coleslaw. The berries have been simmering for about 20 minutes. They're macerating slowly. The blueberries are breaking down. I'm just going to give it a little stir. I'm not going to disturb it too much, and I'm just going to let that kind of do its thing for a little while longer. Once those are done, I'm going to add some mushrooms, cook the water out of those because they're cremini, so they produce a little bit of water. Once the water is cooked out, I'll add some herbs, some cheese, some cream, and we are going to get this delicious sauce on the go. I'm just going to roughly chop up some cauliflower, get it in my pressure cooker. I pressure cook it for about 6 minutes, or 4 minutes actually, with a little bit of a natural release, and I cook it with just a little bit of chicken stock and some salt and pepper. Then when that's done, I'm going to use my little hand blender. I'm going to blend it up, make some rice, and then we are ready to dish up almost. Okay, so come a little closer. I've got the mushrooms. All the water's been cooking out. It's almost gone. The onions are nice and translucent. Got some salt and pepper in there. So I'm just going to add some cream and still let that continue to cook down a bit, because all those little bits from frying the bacon and then frying the Brussels sprouts and now frying the onions separately, all those little bits kind of built up flavor, and once I scrape those out into the cream, it's just going to add to the flavor a lot. We're going to let that simmer for a little while. I'm going to scrape up the bits from the bottom. We'll add some cheese and herbs, and we're done with the sauce. So because the pork is such a heavy protein with the crust and everything on it, I decided to go with the avocado dressing because it adds the extra fat without adding too much more carbs and doesn't really add any more protein when we're already having a protein-rich diet. And I think that the avocado, lime, and Brussels sprouts together is going to be just a really delicious version of a coleslaw. So, last couple minutes here. I've got my tenderloin on the table, tin foil on it covered. It is cooling down so that the moisture kind of stays inside. Right now, I'm going to add some Parmesan to my mushroom cream sauce. I burnt my hand really bad, so I got to squeeze some frozen pepperoni. But yeah, let's get this cheese melted. I like to add a lot of Parmesan because I like a really creamy, rich sauce. And I like to use the Parmesan slivers because they're just, it's easy, it's already slivered, melts quickly. That burn really hurts. And yeah, this is the last couple minutes here. This cream sauce does not have any gluten. You normally make a roux with the butter and flour, add milk and then cheese. We're doing it without any flour whatsoever, so. What's under there? It's Mommy's apron. Right now I'm scraping the bottom gently of my cast iron while I'm stirring it because I want to get all those little crispy bits mixed in with the sauce. the cauliflower a quick little buzz. Don't want them too mushy because we want it to have some texture still. Okay, so everything is pretty much ready. I am just cutting up the meat that had sat for a little while so that the moisture could redistribute, and then I'm going to plate up. Perfectly cooked. That nice little crisp one there. Hopefully it locked in all of those delicious flavors from the cheese and the mustard and the lime. The cauliflower mash on there. I've got the herb and parm crusted tenderloin. So now I'm going to put some of this coleslaw that I made with the bacon grease, fried Brussels sprouts, and the avocado dressing. Okay, so now I'm just going to add a little bit of this delicious, creamy, cheesy Parmesan sauce right in the middle. So in the winter time here, it's cold for a very long time. We only get about 3 hours of sunlight a day in the winter. So everybody is looking for that comfort food. Everybody goes for the heavy and the warm and the tastes like grandma. And one of those dishes that's very popular here in the Yukon is pork chops with mushroom soup and rice. That's it, all mixed together. Everybody loves it. So today I wanted to make an elevated version. So I have the herb and parm crusted tenderloin with a cauliflower mash, a Parmesan and fresh mushroom cream sauce, and then the coleslaw made with the Brussels sprouts. And that is the dish that I have decided to make for you today.